Hi, this is Erik Karhan from Riichi, New York City, and today we'll be going over some basic tournament procedures and manners to help prepare you for the Riichi Open. While some of the points of etiquette might seem unnecessary or draconian, they all exist to facilitate smooth play with minimal disruption and confusion. Depending on where and who you play with, more relaxed or even stricter manners may be observed, so make sure to ask at an event. For the purposes of this video, we'll be going over the golden basics to get you started in tournament play. When shuffling, use the sides of your hands for the best mix. Placing your palms on top traps tiles, making for a poor shuffle, and it's also used in several cheating techniques. Everyone should get roughly 1/4 of the table to shuffle in. Once the tiles have been thoroughly shuffled, flip over the face-up tiles and give them a light shuffle to lose their position. You should never start building your wall with face-up tiles. After collecting your 2 rows of 17 tiles, push the front row forward to where you want it to be. This will save you the effort of moving the entire wall. You can push the right side of your wall forward to help others reach it, but don't push it too far. The first golden rule is not to touch other players' hands, discards, or walls without a reason to do so. There are pretty much no reasons you should be touching someone else's hand. You can touch a player's discards when you are stealing a tile for a pawn, chi, or con, and you may touch the wall if you are drawing a tile, flipping the Dora, or adjusting your own wall on your own turn. The dealer should roll the dice fairly in the middle of the walls so that they tumble sufficiently, randomizing the roll. Then, they should pick up the dice and place them in the right-hand corner. The dice should not be placed anywhere else. The dealer should break the wall. This way, if a mistake is made, the person responsible is known. The owner of the wall where the Dora should be should drop the Rinchon tile and flip the Dora over. As you draw your hand, you should never draw out of order. It is recommended that you look at your hand as you draw it to save time and see if there are any tiles you would like to call early. Lastly, the dealer should not make their first discard until North has taken their final tile and the Dora is flipped. Draw your tiles swiftly and do not mix them into your hand until after you discard. If you do, you can be penalized, and this is strictly against the rules. The second golden rule is to use one hand for everything during gameplay other than sorting your hand and declaring Ron and Sumo. The reason is once again to avoid suspicion of cheating and confusion. When you draw tiles and discard tiles, try to use one hand. When you declare Ron or Sumo, you should always use 2 hands, even if you're on a single weight. It's a sign of respect. Discard neatly in rows of 6. Make sure the discard is clear to everyone at the same time. Covering it partially can be misleading or obscure it from certain players. Once a tile's back has touched the table near your discards or is otherwise revealed, a discard may not be taken back. Also, make sure not to slam or slow play your discard, especially if you are in Riichi. The third golden rule of Mahjong is to play at a decent pace. While it is also taboo to play too slowly, playing too fast is just as much of a problem. If you are drawing at such a speed that your opponents cannot see the previous discards, then you may be penalized. If you play too slowly too often, then you can also be penalized. Don't be afraid to take your time on the decisions that need it, but also don't play slowly just because you're in the lead. It's fair to all the other players that you give them equal time on the clock. Silent calls are forbidden. If you try to pawn or chi without saying anything and someone else calls the tile, they will get it. Chi. While it is true that a pawn or con beats a chi, if the pawn or con is made late, the pawn or con is considered invalid. Once you have called, reveal the tiles in your hand that complete the call, take the tile from the discards, place the melded tiles in your right-hand corner, and then discard. For a con, make sure to draw your Rinshan tile before discarding. In WRC rules, all 3 types of cons flip Dora immediately, so the Dora wall owner should flip it after every con. Calls should be stacked for best visibility. If playing with red 5s, make sure to show the red 5 in a concealed con, and to specify in a pawn if the red 5 came from your opponent or from your own hand. If you sumo, the winning tile should be placed next to the hand and visibly separate, or you may be penalized. If you ron, the winning tile should be kept in the discards of the player who discarded it. When declaring Riichi, it is important to first say Riichi, then discard, and if the tile passes, then put out your Riichi stick. Players who win while in Riichi should immediately check their Uradora and place the indicators close to their hand, but separated. Players should place their payments on the table for everyone to check. Keep them separate, and remember to ask for change. Don't take any sticks before payment is confirmed by the winning player and you have permission to do so. In the case of a draw, tenpai or no-ten should be declared starting with the dealer and moving in turn order. This is important, especially in all last. Before the next hand, it is recommended that you make change for 1,000-point sticks if you do not have any. Once the scores are settled, flip all the hands down, add a honba if needed, and move on to the next hand. Lastly, here are some general rules for a nice, friendly game. At the start of the game, greet your opponents and wish them good luck. At the end of a game, thank them for the game, regardless of the results. Should be kind and calm. This means no shouting, groaning, moaning, cursing, throwing of points, or other tomfoolery before, during, or after a game. You should never talk about your own hand, someone else's hands, or other strategical points during the course of a hand. Other people's information is private, and it affects the gameplay. You are playing to have a fair game, so help your opponents out if they need assistance. And call a judge for all disputes. Remember to treat the staff with respect as well. We hope that this video has helped you prepare for your next tournament. Of course, the full list of manners is exhausting, and this list is already quite long, but these basic ones will help you get through your first tournament like a pro. We look forward to seeing you at the next Riichi no Mi Open. Good luck!